Name micro complete. Finally, we have a semifinals. This has been one of the least eventful KSLs so far. We've had some fun games, and we'll have a couple more. Hopefully, this is one of them. In the upper right-hand corner, in the blue, it's NightMare. His opponent in the lower left, in the red, for Twisted Minds, it's Classic. A nice PvP here. Been very PvP focused all day. It's been a very Protoss heavy bottom side of the bracket. In fact, I heard Special was playing Protoss on the top side of the bracket. So that was Protoss heavy as well. But Dark is the one waiting in the finals at the end of the day. Special had to forfeit, sadly, so a quick KSL. But we are shaping up to potentially have a very, very good finals. I do think if NightMare is able to take down Classic here, it might be a bit tough for him to take on Dark. We might just see a 3-0 for the Zerg player. I think Classic stands a much better chance. So I am pulling a little bit for Classic in this match because I think it'll give us a stronger finals. But we shall see. Only time will tell. Classic does have a KSL win under his belt, if memory serves. Yeah, actually, I'm going to take a look. Well, I should follow Classic's probe here, because Classic dropped that cheeky pylon to block the probes in that other game. Such a wild move. Let me see here. Yeah, Classic took down Hero in a finals. However, he's also lost a finals to Dark, so we may be having a bit of a rematch there. Was that the only finals Dark won? Yeah, so Dark has actually struggled a lot in the KSL. He gets to the finals usually against Hero, and usually he loses that. But he's also lost to Solar. Classic is the only player Dark has been able to beat in the finals, despite making it to like 7 of them. Yeah, 7 finals. Jeez, this is 8 now. This is the 8th finals Dark has gotten to. As he waits there for his opponent. Classic gonna try to put some pressure on here. NightMare gotta micro that Stalker back. It turns out pretty much even. Get to see the tech choices here in a little bit. I imagine it'll be Twilight Councils and Blink for both players. I mean, go for an expansion in PvP. It's not really going to be much else. I love this standoff we have right here. You Stalkers looking across the top of the ramps, just waiting for the other to blink. Oh, but they just leave. If only they had known they could do that at the end of the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. They could actually just walk away. I don't know if you guys knew. You know, surprisingly, Classic's going for a Robo instead of that Twilight Council. I am genuinely surprised to see this. What is Classic planning on doing with this Robo? He's only on 2 gates. What is the play here? We have Blink coming out of NightMare. This is to be expected. Classic's building a War Prism. This feels so dangerous. Like, Classic has to hit before Blink. It just puts such a time limit on him. He's got to get across. NightMare was trying to put some pressure on of his own. He's going to scout this Robo Bay, or this Robo rather. Sees just the 2 gates. I don't know. I am very intrigued by this. What is Classic's plan? Oh, Classic's also building a Twilight Council. Where is this Twilight Council? Oh, it's just in the corner. Okay. So I believe NightMare scouted that with the Phoenix as well. All right. So NightMare saw this Twilight Council. I did not spot it. That is important. So Classic's Blink will be late. Where's that prism? There it is. Okay, so this is a harassment prism. So intriguing. NightMare is in position with these stalkers, and yeah, we'll absolutely... Whoa, I was going to say we'll absolutely spot it. It looks like he just barely did. Saw that that was heading around the corner. Classic not going to get anything done with this Prism and these Adepts. At least not right now. Spots the third base. Could try to drop them in the corner. There's nothing here right now. Oh my god, I love holding the shades back for a second so the shades finish as soon as they get to the middle line. Stalker is going to shoot them a little bit. They get picked up in the Prism. Oh, Blink is done. Oh man, and that Blink just in time. Classic realizing, hey, I'm against Blink Stalkers and I do not have Blink of my own. Immediately he needs to run away. He does have this Immortal though. Ooh, and he could for sure catch NightMare up on this ramp. Yeah, NightMare going to try to just micro backwards. Immortal getting targeted, gets hit, doesn't quite go down the Blink forward from NightMare. He gets it. Oh my god, and Classic had a good shot at the top of that ramp. Takes an okay trade, I guess, compared to the Blink Stalkers, but yeah, needs the second Immortal to come out. Big Daddy Immortal needs to tap down these injured Stalkers. Oh, the Blink forward, the force field doesn't quite catch the Immortal. Stalker's trying to get home. Super Shield Battery turns on. That'll be enough to hold on here. Oh, man. This is very painful for Classic, though. He needs to get out here. He needs to protect this third base, but there's no shield battery at this third base. The Immortals gets blunked on and killed. Classic does have Blink now, though, so he's going to chase this a little bit. Yeah, okay. Really nice moves from Classic to clean this up. And this went from terrible for Classic to, like, fine. Not great, but fine. The trades end up relatively even. That was insanely dicey, though. Losing that Prism, all of a sudden his units are caught with their pants down against the quick blink of NightMare. We've evened up quite a bit. NightMare does still have a slight advantage, though. A couple of probes ahead. That +1 is a little bit earlier for NightMare. He killed the Immortals, so the early Robo for Classic doesn't seem to have paid off too many dividends, really. Classic just building Immortals now, non-stop. Already has 2 more. Honestly, Classic's been pumping out those Immortals. Oh, and getting into a Templar Archives as well. I don't know if we have one of those for NightMare just yet. Doesn't look like it. So Classic going to be able to get some Archons out a little bit sooner. Might make up for that +1 being so delayed from where NightMare's is. Now NightMare's moving out once again. Bringing the Stalkers, bringing the Zealots, and the Immortal. But I kind of like Classic's army a little bit better. I mean, the 3 Immortals, now there's an Archon. It's just a little bit more complex. Army supply is very similar, though. Of course, Classic does have the defensive shield battery. It's going to make it easier to defend. Oh, I guess NightMare did get a Temple Archives, because there goes that Archon morphing. Oh, this is really nice, though. Pulling a few Stalkers away. The Adepts will get killed, but that's 3 probes going down. And I don't think Classic was fully ready for this. Super Shield Battery turns on, but it gets killed immediately. But these Stalkers are right up front here. And the Charge Lots just barreling into the Archons works out so well for Classic in that fight. He's going to target down this War Prism. He will get the Prism. And Classic with 4 Immortals and a couple of Archons is going to absolutely win that fight. He loses a lot of probes, but it's fully worth it to win the fight like that. Look at that army supply. 20 more army supply for Classic. And he's chasing this down. He's going to kill it. He's going to kill that Immortal. NightMare has a 4th base done and running. It's actually wild. During all of that, he built a 4th base. I don't know why he attacked then. I feel like you don't want to attack at a player with less bases than you in a mirror matchup. Like, maybe put some pressure on, but he just went all in on it. And now NightMare is in a tough spot, but if Classic doesn't take advantage of it very soon, NightMare is going to be able to rebuild the army on that superior economy. I mean, he's got the better income. If he can turn this into units fast enough and hold Classic's next push, I mean, NightMare will be in a great spot. It's a big if. NightMare is taking a 4th base. We do have a little Zealot run by back here, and by little, I mean a very large Zealot run by down here. Forcing a recall from Classic with the Zealots just run into the main base is actually so frustrating for Classic to deal with right now. And it's delaying so much for NightMare. Back at home, he just warps in. He warps in. Is he going to recall? There it is. He'll just lose a few Zealots for this. That bought him so much time. It's actually insane. That was so good for NightMare. Look, his army supply is bigger than Classic's now. He was down 20, but he did what I talked about. He turned this into units. And now NightMare, he's in a fine spot. Maybe not the best spot in the world. Big thing he doesn't have going for him is he never started +2. So that +2 of Classic, very close to finishing here, is going to be a big boost to his army. Also, the Zealots came back in. Classic's army was right there. A bunch of them will get taken down and shoved away. I still think Classic's in a favorable position, but NightMare pulling some really good moves here. Those are some professional moves. This is a little bit dicey though. I think NightMare's doing this on purpose. No, he pulls back. He doesn't have a recall. He can't get out of here. Classic's just going for it, leaving a few Zealots back at this side of the map. Classic's going to dive in full force to this natural. He saw that army turn around, and he is going to jump on top of all of this. Oh my god, those poor probes just got demolished. Speaking of probes going down though, Classic losing a lot of probes as well in the natural and in the 3rd base. He's taking a really nice position in this natural, and he's going to dive up here. Ooh, Stalkers. I think we're going to try to snipe the Prism, but weren't quite able to. Classic keeps it alive, and now he's got juggling and reinforcements. Oh no, NightMare, you cannot move up that ramp. Not with that many Zealots. He has so many Zealots. And Classic just holding this amazing position. Even if NightMare does bust up here, look at this concave he's going to be busting into. Oh, Classic with the Prism moves. The juggling. The Prism's so low, but it stays alive. Goes to the back. He warps in more units. Is there enough here for NightMare? No, there absolutely is not. Look at that army supply. 76 to 29 now. Some of these Zealots are coming across the map for Classic, but it just doesn't matter. GG gets called. Classic ends up taking game number 1. Kind of a wild one, though, between those two. Very wild indeed. All right, game number 2 here. Yeah, I guess the biggest thing is I don't know why NightMare decided to push up that ramp. Like, I understand in theory wanting to put some pressure on while you expand behind it, but he was economically ahead. It really didn't feel like he needed to go that hardcore on the attack. I think he could have just put some pressure on. And, like, gotten the Zealot run by in, or he had the Adepts in, actually. I don't know. I felt like NightMare just overcommitted a little bit to that. Classic was able to punish him for it. Anyways, game 2 is going to be on Ancient Cistern. The oldest of cisterns. Go ahead and hop on in here, join our players on this lovely map, spawning in the lower left-hand corner. In the blue, representing Abydos, it is NightMare. And his opponent in the upper right-hand corner in the red for Twisted Minds. It's Classic. You want a new mint condition cistern? The only one we got here is an ancient one. You come on down to Bob's Ancient Cars, and we got all the ancient cars ready for you. Like the Cistern. A classic from Chevy. 1983 Chevy Cistern. I don't know, I'm excited to see game 2. I feel like NightMare had a very strong, very solid early game. You can certainly see how NightMare can and has taken PvP games off of every good Protoss. I think NightMare's PvP is probably his strongest matchup. Certainly seen him take down Hero, Classic, etc. I'm surprised at how passive the PvPs have been today. I feel like usually when I see Korean PvP, I'm expecting 3-gate Robo probably half of the time. But it feels like they're playing more of a European style. Getting into that Twilight Council, getting into that Blink. We're still seeing aggression, but it's more, I don't know, it's less aggressive aggression. It's just pressure. It's poking, trying to see if you can force a mistake from your opponent in the early game. Kind of like how Terrans do with Reapers and Hellions in the early game. Like, you might be able to get an advantage, but you're really not going to win the game. I feel like we're seeing a little bit of that between these two. This is very interesting, though. NightMare's going for Stalker Adept. I have seen a lot of openings in PvP. I feel like I can safely say I have never seen Stalker Adept. No, I've seen this. Now that I say it out loud, I have seen this. But it's been so long that I only vaguely remember it. I don't really know what the purpose of this is. I guess the Stalker kills the probe, and then Classic doesn't realize there's an Adept coming? And the Adept's going to sneak across the map? Yeah, I guess that is the intention here. There are 2 more Adepts out now, though. So NightMare is running 1 Adept into 2. Classic is going to realize this. The Adept's on the other side of the map. Not getting anything done for Classic, as I think NightMare kind of knew this was coming. 3 probes going down, though. Ends up working out very well for NightMare. These 2 Adepts thinking about trying to shade up. NightMare can actually block the ramp with the friendly shades of his Adepts. Which is exactly what we're going to see here. Of course, behind this is that Stargate, so Oracle's coming out here, coming across the map. And I think Classic's going to try to do that same thing to NightMare that he did to Lemon earlier. So just poke the front with a few units. Ooh, 2 of the Adepts actually sneak through. And they're going to be able to get a few probe kills before these Stalkers kill them. This feels like kind of a big mistake here from NightMare. 5, 6 probes going down. That will be it as this Adept tries to escape and I believe fails. Now there's a couple of Oracles up here that are looking to get something done. They dive into the natural. There's actually just nothing here. They're going to try to get an Adept. They're just chewing through the shield battery energy. Could they actually do that? They actually could. They could chew through that. They've used all the shield battery energy now. Oh my god, they've turned around. They're coming back in. The Adepts are going to shade up into the main base. No, they cancel the shade. Still just no probes here. Not that Classic is like way up in workers or anything. He's gotten quite a few kills, but he took those early game kills. That makes it a little more painful when it's early game. The Oracles finally find some probes. The Adepts helping out. 5 more probes going down. And that does give Classic a nice little advantage here. NightMare trying to find some comparable damage on the other side of the map. Does get a probe, gets a second one. Doesn't look like too much more will happen. There's no shield battery here, so that's worth noting. Could mean 1 Adept can get some damage done. The Oracles, again, they try to come back in. They try to come back in. Look at them go. Off the back of this, both players heading into Blink. that's about it. I don't think either of them have a forge. It's just going to be Blink Stalkers here. Classic has really good vision on where NightMare is. He can go check on what he's doing. Once Blink is done, it becomes a little more dangerous for these Oracles, but honestly, by that point, the Oracles have kind of done their job. And if they're still alive, it becomes very, very painful for NightMare. He really wants to get a kill on these. Oh, that stasis trap. Painful stasis trap. Classic. Feeling like he wants to push the issue. He's warping in Stalkers. He's got a proxy gate. There's a Robo going down for NightMare. Ooh, Classic's feeling pretty good, though. He gets a Stalker kill. Pokes at another one, forcing NightMare to pull all these Stalkers down from the main base. Could the Oracles dive into the main now? Nope, they're instead going to fly behind the natural, and one goes down, the other one doesn't quite, but these three Stalkers in the main are not here in the fight, helping out, and the target fire from Classic is gunning these Stalkers down. No overcharge used there for NightMare, so he does have it for a follow-up attack. Such a big blink forward by Classic. He's so brazen with these. The Immortal's on the way out. It's being chrono boosted, but it is taking a little bit of time. Oracle's still down here. Could try to give high ground vision. Classic wants to be bold. Blink into the main. But Classic's just taking a third behind this, and I really like this, right? Getting more ahead while putting this pressure on. Now cutting off these Stalkers and NightMare. Oh, this is a NightMare scenario for our Abydos Protoss. Super shield battery, not enough to save that Immortal. And this is looking very over. Oh, the stasis trap. That is insult to injury. Classic not letting NightMare out of this one easy. He says, no, you're going to have to give this to me. I am taking it from you, whether you like it or not. Oh, the income. As none of those probes are doing anything. No! Oh my god! Another one! Jesus. Classic was upset with how close game one seemed and wanted to make it clear that he was the better Protoss. Jeez. It was unnecessary.